Back in 1994, a year when a 32-bit Sony PlayStation was on the horizon and posing a threat to Nintendo's seat at the top of the console wars, Nintendo needed a game to show their 16-bit Super Nintendo Entertainment System still had plenty of power. Their new release Donkey Kong Country gave them that wow factor in terms of visuals, along with solid gameplay to go along with those impressive graphics. The game was a smashing hit and bought Nintendo some time before their next console eventually released in 1996. Could the next entry in the series work on the underpowered Game Boy handheld though? Well, the developer Rare tried with Donkey Kong Land, the 1995 Game Boy follow-up to the hugely successful Donkey Kong Country in the previous year. If nothing else, the graphics seen in Donkey Kong Land also represented some of the best graphics on the handheld. Switch players today can easily see for themselves because Nintendo recently released Donkey Kong Land on the Game Boy app for those who subscribe to Switch Online. Despite the great graphics though, there are a few major problems with the gameplay. The main problem is that the camera feels zoomed in, which means the player can't easily see what's ahead, and that ultimately results in a lot of cheap deaths. Many portable platformers suffer from this problem, as the developers are probably trying to compensate for the smaller screen size by making the playable character bigger as well as everything else. Nevertheless, it hurts playability to have the screen so focused in on Donkey Kong or Diddy. With the camera zoomed in, Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong become harder to control. When I roll, I have no idea if I'm about to roll onto my death or survive a bit longer. When I jump, I have no confidence I'm making the right jump because I can't see where I'm landing at times. Other times I make the jump only to get hit by an enemy on the other platform because I can't see it. I'm not sure if all the problems I have relating to the platforming come from the zoomed in camera, because I also think the controls might feel a touch more slippery than they should. Normally I like to play through most of the game before I review it, but there's one particular level in World 1 of Donkey Kong Land that I just could not get through no matter how many times I tried. This level took place on a ship, and I must have tried to beat it about 40 or 50 times. No matter what though, I kept jumping to my death or dying because I couldn't see the enemy in time. My patience was gone. If any level could drive me to take a cartridge out and take a dump on it AVGN style, it's this one. I'd enjoy it too and laugh when I'm done. Fortunately, this is running off the Game Boy app, and I have no desire to ruin the new Switch that I just bought about a month ago. I gave up on the ship level in question and decided to simply review the game based on how it looked and felt up to that point. As for the music in Donkey Kong Land, it's fine. They copy some of the themes from Donkey Kong Country, which I don't mind since that game had an excellent soundtrack to go along with its revolutionary graphics and solid gameplay. There's no problem on that end. If you're looking for the same gameplay experience as Donkey Kong Country though, Donkey Kong Land will end up as a disappointing game. I know I'm comparing a Super Nintendo game to a Game Boy game, and maybe that's not fair. How could I not compare the two games though, especially when the other one is also available to Switch Online members? I'll give Donkey Kong Land on Game Boy a 6 out of 10. It has great graphics and the music is good, but those two factors alone can't save the gameplay. Keep that in mind before you try this game on the Switch Online service.